I got the creative gene from my father. My father's a poet who's published some books on poetry. I don't really remember being, heavily into music from an early age, but I think once I came to America, I was 7 years old when I emigrated to America from Iran. And once I came to America and was exposed to pop radio, that sort of piqued my interest. I was a very shy, introverted kid when I was younger, so the only way I could really express myself within, American society is through music and through art. I love to draw. One thing led to another, and I went through my different phases of being into photography for a few years, being into, like I mentioned, drawing, and music was always there in the background. And music, as I got older, as I entered my teens and started to play in school bands and meet other like-minded musicians, music became more of a central focus of my life. I evolved as a person, as a student. I got into different styles of music, went from punk rock and industrial and stuff like that into electronic music. Electronic music led me into the early house and techno sound, and I was hooked ever since. Last year we reformed Deep Dish. Deep Dish is sort of, it's a hybrid of what I'm into and what Sharam, my studio and DJ partner, is into. So the vision is a compromise between, what we both grew up listening to and what, formed the foundations of our musical roots. And we're currently working on a new album. We have a lot of really interesting music that we've done, and we're trying to find a way with all the remaining tracks that we have to finish to tie it all together. So, I can tell you that there's a lot of incredible vocalists that we've worked with. The genres sort of run between new wave and deep house. And there's a few tracks that really, really hark back to our classic sound as well. So we're just trying to find a way to tie it all in to have like a cohesive vision, so that everybody can understand, including us, what Deep Dish is supposed to sound like in 2015 or 2016. Deep Dish has a more mainstream focus in terms of its sound, whereas Dubfire is a lot more cutting edge, pushing technology, pushing the limits of what I'm into within the electronic and alternative music genres. And I'm constantly trying to challenge myself musically as an artist, as Dubfire, as Sharam and I are equally with Deep Dish. Right now I'm in the middle of my live show, my hybrid live show, which is going for the next couple of years. I pursued the Dubfire moniker, and yeah, it's a nomadic life that I lead right now. I used to play in bands when I was younger, and then when I got into DJing, it's been basically nothing but DJing for the last 15, 20 years. So I really wanted to challenge myself musically, to branch outside of the typical routine of gigging week in, week out all the time, and to see if I can put together something that really represents my musical statement fully. Live. Stop. One thing that I didn't want to do, that I instructed the visual designer, which is, desensitizing the audiences by just throwing as much lighting and CO2 cannons and confetti and visuals, LED displays as they possibly can against the audience. Like, that's something that I didn't want to do. I wanted to do something a bit more like nuanced, something a bit more, pointed, and something that really falls within my visual aesthetic as well. And then we also talked about doing something that actually has some sort of a narrative, so some sort of a loose plot and a story behind it, as opposed to random geometric shapes projected against the screen. So it's, sort of like a tale about a future world in which man and machine have fused to create like the perfect being, and about how this man-machine hybrid is birthed into the system, and how it grows within the system, at first not realizing what he or she is and where he or she fits in to the system. So there's a bit of resistance in fusing or conforming or plugging into the system, and then after a while he or she has no choice but to adapt and become a part of the system.